What about his life? Because I was going to ask you, there's always this controversy about the year that he was born. Do you know, have you delved into that a little
my
bit?
goodness. First of all, people need to understand the context, that why the age or the lifespan of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani is crucial. Mirza Ghulam Qadiani said that God has decided that he wants to give a sign to the future generations so they can verify the truthfulness of my claims. And then he said that in order to give that sign, this is the sign God has decided to give me. They said that God has told me that my lifespan would be 80 years or close to it. Now, this is the significance, because if we miss this perspective, then the whole thing is just blurry. So this is the actual perspective. This is how the thing started. Now, the question is, their entire response is revolving around one thing. And that is, back in the days, it was not customary to document the birthdays. Hang on a second, that's not the question. God was going to give the sign, and God knew very well that in order for people to verify this sign, they need two things: date of birth, date of death. Date of death, no problem. Everybody will know that eventually. Date of birth was one single piece of information which God must provide.
Yeah.
If God was going to give the sign, then it is God's responsibility to provide information, i.e. the date of birth.
Otherwise, what's
the point? How is that sign?
What sign?
So basically, this, now this is again the academic thinking. If this is the context, then their official response, as they gave to you as well, that back in the days it was not customary. No, it was not customary to document the date of birth. No, but that's not the question. It was God to give the sign, and God, I guess that God knew his date of birth. I guess. Okay. Now the next thing is, Declan, that when they are trying to cover up this whole thing, I want to ask them a question. How come that up until 1908 there was no controversy on Mirza's date of birth? Lahori Jamaat, Qadiani Jamaat, first Caliph Hakim Nuruddin, Mirza himself, all of them unanimously said 1839 or 1840.
Wow.
Unanimously said.
Okay.
And Mirza himself,
yes,
on oath.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
that's very important to mention himself.
Mirza Ghulam Qadiani appeared in the court of Gurdaspur in 1900 or 1901, one of these two. And he said under oath, he said, I am close to 60. When? In 1901 or 1900, one of these two. We know for sure he died at 1908. So if you do the math, he's 69, number one. Number two, when they are coming up with their number of 1835, they are being unacademic. Why? Because the parameters they are using other people. Mufti Sadiq, one of the disciples of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, he says that Mirza told me, we have no evidence by the way, he said Mirza told me he was born in such and such month of the Indian calendar. Now the question is, how come that you want to depend on Mufti Sadiq, a secondary person, and leaving Mirza Ghulam Qadiani, his son and his caliph? And secondly, how come? That's the main key point now. Because the whole context is quote unquote divine. God is giving the sign, right? If Mirza Ghulam, now they say that Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was mistaken when he was telling his date of birth. Hang on a second. You all still have no response. Why? Mirza Ghulam Qadiani said a prophet cannot die on a mistake. If Mirza Ghulam Qadiani was making a mistake by telling his date of birth, it was God's responsibility to correct him.
Because it's a sign.
The sign.
You see why this is a big deal, Declan? Do you understand?
Yeah, no,
why the Jamaat does so much gymnastics about the age of Mirza Ghulam Qadiani? What's the big deal? Who cares whether he was 60, 70 or 80? Who cares? The reason why Qadiani Jamaat does so much gymnastics is because Mirza himself made his age, the number, to be a sign from God.
Yes.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be a problem. So the number becomes very important. That's why there is so much discussion in the literature as to when he was born. According to Mirza's own testimonies, he stated that he was born in the last
year. That's the one you have to go with.
Yes, because he's the prophet. He tells you when he was born. And they ignore that. The entire Jamaat ignore Mirza's own testimonies and create another date of birth to fit him into that.
Well, they're very disrespectful to the promised Messiah.
Absolutely.
Actually, Declan, just to add two last things, because I would say that through this podcast, this should be documented in the history that why this question matters, the date of birth thing. Now, the cover they are using is that God never said it would be 80. It would be close to 80. Guess what? Bring a single statement, because Mirza was telling his age close to as well. For example, he says in 1901 under oath, I am close to 60. In 1907, in his book Hakikatul Wahi, 1907, he said, I am close to 70. Did he ever say I'm close to 80? That's the question. It was going to be close to 80. Okay. The second thing is when he said that I am close to 70, there's a possibility it could be bit over 70 or bit less 70. Guess what?
He close to 70.
No, he closed that door.
68 and a half, 69, isn't it?
Actually,
69.
Or 71, 72, 73.
That's the thing. He closed that door. When he said that I am close to 70, in the same book he said 69, and he died over 1 year afterwards.
1907 he's saying this.
1907.
That I'm 69 and he dies in 1908.
Yes.
And you've read all that?
Oh yes, Haqiqatul Wahi. Basically, there are two things.
One of his final books.
Yes, there is 5.
This will be in the translation.
It is available.
Okay.
Now there are two things, Declan. One is in 1907, Mirza says, I am close to 70, number one.
Yeah, yeah.
Then close to 70 could open the possibilities. He closed there. He said, I am 69. Then he died after 1 year. Do the math. It's never close to 80. So, now that's the case closed now. The checkmate thing is, Declan, Mirza says that the future generation will know the truthfulness of my claim through my lifespan.
Well, what will they come back and say on that, Adnan? They'll have a response to that. They won't just take this lying down.
Oh, they have a response to everything.
Yeah.
They have a
So what likely response will they have to?
We have had an entire stream that
Two
runs
streams.
into hours.
Yes.
And they had the chance to come and defend their position, and they couldn't. The maths simply doesn't work.
No.
So how do they justify that?
Mirza was mistaken about his age.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
The Prophet was mistaken.
If he was mistaken about his age, he might be mistaken about a lot of other things.
But
Yes.
there's another catastrophe for them. Even by their own calculations, the numbers don't match.
Yeah.
So even after they've done their calculations, the numbers don't match.
Okay.
They still couldn't make him.
What's
80.
their explanation for that?
Actually, you know, Declan, if you want me to tell you,
It's just a charade, isn't
Yeah.
it?
it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
They have 3 responses. One, which they gave to you, that back in the days in India, it was not customary to document the date of birth.
But the way they've worked it out.
No, but Mirza,
Mirza,
if you look at Mirza's own statements,
Yeah.
Mirza said, I was born in the last year of
Sikh
Maharaja Ranjit Singh.
Yeah.
Maharaja Ranjit Singh died in 1839, not Sikh Raj, Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Okay, is that can we check that, because he said Maharaja Ranjit Singh, if I remember correctly.
He said Sikhon ke aakhri daur mein.
No, Akhri Dor can mean anything.
Yeah.
Because
I
Akhri
agree.
Dor starts from 1839 all the way up to
there are two
1849.
things. There are two things.
Yeah.
He had 2 statements. One is that in the last period of the Sikhs, and then he said 1839, 1840.
1830.
He gave two
What he means by the last year of Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Okay, Maharaja Ranjit Singh died in 1839. By all history accounts, he died in 1839. Okay, and this is how people would remember important births or their own birth, that such and such child was born when that happened or when this happened, for example. Okay, and Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani writes himself that, and let's say if it's the last days of the Sikh rule, it can never be 1835 because the last days of the Sikh rule started after 1839.
Yes.
So his date of birth has to be after 1839, not before 1839, because up to 1839, the Sikh rule in the Punjab was the most powerful entity in the region, and there was no question about the power of the Sikh rule, and whether no one could imagine that within the next 7 to 8 years, this rule will be completely dismantled, and the Punjab region will be annexed by the British so easily, because Maharaja Ranjit Singh had created a very powerful empire, okay, in the Punjab region. So whether Mirza meant it was the last year of Maharaja Ranjit Singh or the last years of the Sikh rule, in both cases it must be 1839 onwards, not backwards. It cannot possibly be 1835 by any account or by any calculation. Okay, 1835 year doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
The last statement, Declan, I would make on this age thing, that Ahmadis, those who are sincere to the truth, they need to ask the Jamaat 2 questions on this topic. Question 1. Did God say to Mirza Ghulam Qadiani that I'm going to make your lifespan a sign for the future people to know your truth? If the answer is yes, then the second necessary thing is, then God must tell his date of birth.
Otherwise, what sign?
What's the point then?
I mean, I'm going to make something a sign for you, but then I'm going to make it blurry.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it.
Very blurry.
I'm going to make it so vague.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it so questionable, so unestablished, so uncertain that it loses its meaning. What sign? If I tell you there is a signboard, if you want to go to the Heathrow airport, let's say, and there's a signboard, but then the signboard is telling you go right, and then it's go left. The same signboard is telling you right and left, and you're standing there confused, right or left. It doesn't explain. So God is telling you
He's been
right and left.
very mischievous.
Oh yeah, so this is a mess. It's an absolute mess.
Yeah.
And the reason why we are doing this campaign, Declan, is to save the common, gullible, decent Ahmadis who have given their lives to this cult, and they are giving their money to this cult. Okay, for what
I
end?
think it's too late for I think anybody over the age of 40, it's probably too late.
I wouldn't say so. I think there are people. I mean, we have people, Declan, who are beyond the age of 40, and they're coming back.
Oh, yes.
They're coming. Yes,
Okay.
100%.
It's,
Yes.
The reason that I say that is that they are so devoted.
Yes.
They're so devoted.
The
to
elderly,
religion.
over 60, 70, those people. But even then,
But I don't under. I'm kind of looking at why are they so devoted if they haven't read his works and if they haven't done their own
It's the culture.
research,
It's the
their own analysis.
Yeah.
It's the you see, when you are raised as an Ahmadi child or as a Qadiani
course,
child, you see Mirza Ghulam Ahmad Qadiani with a halo around his head.
Yeah.
He's shown to be a divine personality.
hard
They
to
are
give
not
up.
shown these contradictions. They're not shown these problems. And
But
when
they are now.
yes, they are being
Yeah,
exposed
they
to
are
it.
now.
They are being exposed to this. And now the kids, the youngsters are asking questions. Declan, they sent out a bulletin to their private WhatsApp chats that we received from one of the insiders, and it states categorically, block Muhammad Imtiaz and Adnan Rashid from the devices of your children, just like you block pornography. Do not let them watch their content. Do not let them watch their content. We have the bulletin.
When was that sent out?
This was how many months?
Nearly 3 months ago.
3 months ago.
I put it up on my Twitter.
Yes, on
I
Twitter.
actually put the screenshot on
They
my
never
Twitter.
challenged that bulletin.
They never said this is not true because it came from the inside.
Yes.
And we have people, Declan, in the Jamaat who are Muslims. They're not Ahmadis. They have accepted Islam, okay, and they remain inside so that they can help people inside.
Undercover.
Undercover.
Wow.
And they run into many,
Yeah.
not few individuals. They are everywhere, almost in every single major country where they have major operations, and they are inside, including the house of the Caliph.
Yeah.
I'm saying it publicly. I'm announcing it. We're not going to say the names.
Yeah.
We're not going to tell you who they are. I have personally met people who have direct contact with the Caliph. They are Muslims. They are Muslims. They have accepted Islam. With myself, they repeated the Shahada. When we say the Shahada, that means making the declaration of Islam again to enter Islam again from the Qadiani religion. So they left the Qadiani religion, and we requested stay in and help more people to come out, because this is a money-making scheme that's conning people.